Daily Chumash for the week of Parshas Tazria Metzora, and we're up to the second Aliyah, page 20 in the Chayinu. Pasuk of Daled, verse 24. Oy Vasar. So we're continuing about tzaras. Tzaras, mistranslated as leprosy. Leprosy is a little different. It's more of a physical skin and limb deterioration. Tzaras was a discoloration of the skin in very specific ways, certain shades of white with certain signs, that was looked at as a miraculous spotlight on a person's certain sins that they have to then correct.
I want to ask you, is psoriasis related to tzaras?
Interesting, saying the word. I don't know. Do a little, this is what we have ChatGPT for, AI. You look at psoriasis like saras. Say the Yiddish, psoriasis. It could be.
No, psoriasis is English. It's not Yiddish.
Yeah. I'm going to allow Gary to do that R&D.
It also, it's a white covering.
Right.
Psoriasis.
Could be. But I mean, we don't look at psoriasis as tsaras, according to Torah.
Right.
Is there a
That's a good question.
Logical connection? We leave that to Gary, our researcher.
Thank you.
Just look at the origin of the word psoriasis, and that should tell us.
Okay, moving along. So we were talking about tsaras on regular skin, then we moved on tsaras on a healed wound. Now we're talking about tsaras now on a burn. On the other hand, if a skin has a burn on it from fire, and the healed skin of the burn then becomes pink or white spot. The healed skin of the burn, in Old French, when the burn healed it, when it turned into a baheres spot of mixed color, evenly white, a levana chalaka, okay. The simone. So basically, there's, I guess, some type of scar tissue, and that there's these different type of colors, either pink or evenly white. And the truth is, he says the signs. So you have the color, then you have to have an extra sign to conclude it's tzaras. They're the same signs. What did it say it was? It was hairs that have turned white. So why do you separate it then? Right? The Torah doesn't have to add words if it can just say you got this type of scar tissue from a wound or scar tissue from a burn, then there's different, they have the same criteria. Pink or the white shades plus some white hair equals tzaras. Why not just put it together and save some ink, as the Torah likes to do? This tells you, so you're right, it could have done that, but it's teaching us something else. That if you have scar tissue from a wound, and right next to it, there's scar tissue from a burn, and let's say there's half of the minimum size of surface that has, which I think is about a nickel. A gris is the Hebrew. A gris is a nickel, I think, a size. So it's got half a nickel on the adjacent burn tissue and a half a nickel size on the wound tissue. They do not combine. They do not combine.
By the way, you're all going to be really disappointed because the Torah's descriptions of tzarat are symbolic, ritual, and linguistic. Modern scholars cannot map tzarat directly onto psoriasis vitiglio, or any single condition. Dermatologists note the Hebrew terms for lesions are no longer medically identifiable. So we're not talking about something that has a modern counterpart. But I realize that when Mashiach comes, this will be an issue.
No, but the question wasn't if it's the same thing. The question is, did whoever made up the Latin Greek word of psoriasis, did they draw terminology from the
No,
term?
they couldn't have, because it's not. This is, as I said, we're talking something that's symbolic, ritual, and linguistic. It's not. It has no modern counterpart.
Okay, fine. Moving along.
By the way, I'm not questioning the Torah in any way. I'm just saying it has no
No,
modern
I hear you.
counterpart.
I'm just no problem. Excellent.
Okay.
All righty. We're continuing on page 21, Pasuk Chafei. The kohen then sees this scar tissue with the signs, and he saw the hairs on the flesh turns white. Within the spot. And the color of the whiteness looks deep, because white, we say, contrasted to dark, always looks deeper. Tsarasi, that is determining its tsaras. Bamichva paracha, it has erupted in a wound scar area in the place of the burn. The kohen declares him impure. Negat tsarasi, it is a tsaras mark. If the kohen looks at it and sees there's no white hairs inside the spot, and in appearance it is not recessed from the rest of the skin, but it is faded, the priest shall quarantine the person for a 7-day period. So the kohen sees it and there's no hair, and it's not such a deep color, white. It's more, muted. And the kohen quarantines him for a week. And the 7th day, the kohen looks at it. The impasa sifsa ba'ar, if the mark has spread. Then Vitima Kohen, so the Kohen then it comes from, if it's spread, because it was on, let's say, a nickel size, now it's a quarter size. That's another. Then that's a determining to say that it's tsaras and it's tamei. Negat tsarasi, it's tsaras mark. One second. If the spot remains the same and did not spread over the skin, and is faded, it is a seis of the burn. The kohen then declares him pure because there's a scar. Can I have the Chumash? Because I have a question. My question is, okay. So here's an interesting thing, because the Kahas edition Chumash a lot of times adds very, very quickly, they add some clarifying points. There are 4 primary colors of white, shades of white, that are potential tsaras. Just so you know, one is snow white or lime white. I guess that's more of a bright white. A more paler type of white that also is an issue. If it's wool white or egg membrane white. So that's still an issue. That's still an issue. And that's why the next verse, that was 27 or 26, in 27, 28, if even the not as bright, shiny white, the more muted white, wool white or egg membrane white, if that expands over a week, that's a problem. Because it's a little confusing, the lingo otherwise. Just Gary, Mike just looked up quickly the etymology of psoriasis. And the answer is you are correct. It is not etymologically related. They come from entirely different language families, roots, and semantic histories. The similarity in sound is coincidental. Because Greek comes from sora, is itch, mange, scab.
But I provided a link for those who want to understand a little bit more about the medical aspects of this, biblical leprosy. They can look at this link. It seems like a somewhat scholarly perspective.
Beautiful. Okay. Moving along. Chav Tes. Ish Ayisha Kive Naga B'Ish Ayvizaka. Now we're talking another category. So we're talking another category of tsaras. We got regular skin. We talk about tsaras on scar tissue of wound or burn. Now we're talking about what about in the area of the head where you have normal hair, you have hair, and you have or beard. Comes the verse. The verse is not coming to distinguish between a mark in the place where hair grows and a mark where there's only flesh. And just to spoiler alert is that the latter's sign of purity is white hair. Meaning, if your arm, the hair would have to turn white on the tsaras. But in the case of the beard, if there's a tsaras in the beard area, in the skin under the beard beard hairs or your scalp, the hair would have to turn golden. 22, verse 30. Lamed. The kohen shall look at the mark, and if he sees it appears deeper than the rest of the skin, and there are thin gold hairs, so there's whiteness that looks always deeper, and there's golden hairs on that white spot. The kohen declares him impure, for this is a nesek. Nesek is the term for tsaras hareisha zakanu, the tsaras of the head hair area or the beard hair area is called nesek. Rashi, meaning the black brown hair turns golden. Neseku is the name of hair area tsaras. Okay. Lamed Aleph. If the kohen looks at the nesek mark and sees it does not appear deeper than the kohen looks at the nesek mark and sees it does not appear deeper than the rest of the skin. And there are no dark hairs within it. The kohen shall quarantine the person with the nesek mark for a 7-day period. So you got the white area, or pale white, or there's no a little confusing. So let's say there's the person has a little bit of beard, but I guess in between the beard and the scalp, the not yet grown in part, there's the legion, there's the mark there, but you don't have any hairs, black or otherwise. So what happens? Meaning you can't.
No, it has to have hairs because the Nessic mark includes gold hairs, must include golden hairs. So it just doesn't have dark hairs here. Here's what the verse is saying.
Interesting. It says here. It doesn't even need to be white. Any color lesion that grows in the beard or head area, and being purple. It's purple, right? And then it sounds like there's golden hair, black, dark hair that turns golden. That's Nessic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just reading here. This is adding the details. A man or a woman has a lesion of any color or combination of colors, which is beyond white. It sounds like green. I don't know. It just seems like to me. The main problem is that there's some sort of discoloration, and then the main thing is there's dark to gold. Let's say someone's bald, right? And there's an area of hair. There's no hair in that area, so it's in the hair area, but it's green. Let's say, right? But there was no hair there to turn gold. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here he goes.
Head or beard, so it can be
head area or beard area.
Or it can be in a.
So what's it saying in verse 31? If there's no discoloration,
if it has golden hairs, then it's a Nessic.
But here it's saying 31, but there are no dark hairs within it. There's nothing.
Right. That's after.
He looks at it.
Right.
There's some type of discoloration, but there's no hair in that area. There's no dark hair. There's no natural dark hair. That could have become it. You know what I'm saying? How else do you read it?
Right. Okay.
So he doesn't have the full criteria.
And there are no dark hairs.
Look at Rashi. But if there were dark hairs in it, it is pure and is not regarded to be quarantined. Right. For dark is a sign of purity regarding Nessic marks. As it says in dark hairs grow. So it sounds like discoloration with changing of dark to gold is the issue. If it's just discoloration with normal hair there, that's just discoloration. It's not saras. Or if it
was a formerly hairless area that now has golden hairs. Could be, because it said head or beard.
Yeah.
So it could be a formerly hairless area that now has golden hair.
I'll read it simple. Look enough. If, however, the priest looks, well, that's the area. The priest looks at the Nessic mark and sees it does not appear deeper than the rest of the skin, but there are no dark hairs. Dark hairs are good usually. That means not golden.
That's what Rashi says.
Well, that's period. I mean, it's logical. Golden is the issue.
Right.
Dark. So there's no dark hairs. What is that telling you? Two things. One, there's nothing there. It was gold to be a problem. If it was dark, he's saying Rashi says it would actually be You'd be exempt.
Okay, right.
So what's there? Nothing. That's the issue. There's nothing.
Right.
So you don't know what to do. So you basically have to quarantine the guy for 7 days. Lamed Beis. The Kohen sees the neg on the 7th day. And because remember, if you can't see it at first, you quarantine a week, and you wait for if it grows. The growth, the expanding of discoloration in area, that's another sign, but it takes a week because you can't see expansion at the beginning. You only see it after a week. It did not. Then the nesek is not spread. There are no golden hairs. And the color, the discoloration is not deep in the rest of the skin. The way they keep saying is, regardless whether it's deeper or not deep, it could be white, it could be pink, it could be green. We don't care. In the hair and beard area, any color without the hair, golden hair thing, or in this case, the no hair but eruption of the expansion, it's your tahor. It says implying there's no hair, golden hair, and there's no expansion. But if there was any of those, tameh. But here it says it wasn't. So what happens? The person then, after week 1, shall shave himself, but not shave the nesek. And the priest shall quarantine the person with the nesek for a second 7-day period. So basically, he shaves his beard, which you usually don't do. But here, you basically shave around it. You leave a ring of hair around the mark. You basically leave 2 follicles of hair, or 2 hairs, a ring around the spot, in order that you should then see after a more closer look if it spreads. If it reaches past those hairs and extends to the shaved area, it's impure. So you don't do that right away. You do it only after 1 week, and you do that. It's basically it's a finer way of measurement. Make sense? It's a closer measuring tool mechanism. Lamed Hey. If it does spread, you see it goes past that little bullseye. After it's declared pure. I'm sorry. If it doesn't spread, then you're good. However, let's say a week later, a month later it spreads. Send your tummy. I'm sorry. Not yet. Lamed Vav. Lamed Hey, Rashi. Av is declared pure. From where do I know that spreading is an issue not just after the exemption? I mean, if you think about the process, there's 2 weeks so far. You see it, you don't know. Wait a week. You see it, you don't know if it's spread. You do the shaving, and you go measure that. So that's 3 checkings: initial, second, third. And then it says after the second, you say you guys putter if it didn't expand past the ring of hair. But what about if it spreads right away? Didn't talk about that. So it says passives. The fact that it says the expression doubled implies more than just after the 2 weeks, the 3 checkings. Anytime it spreads is an issue. Lamed Vav, it all kind of the kind sees it a month later, it spread. It doesn't have to look for gold hairs. That is impure by itself, the spreading. Lamed Zayin, but if, as it appears to him, the kohen, the nesek remained the same, the dark hairs grew within it, this means the nesek is healed and is pure. So it's the same in dark hairs, and it's actually the dark hairs don't make it just, exempt by no activity. It actually purifies it. This is not an issue anymore. That mole, that spot. The kohen purifies it. Rashi, Lamed Zayin, Beser Shachor, Minayin Afayar Ba'adam Shinatov. It says black hair. What about green or red hair? It's not gold. Then maybe does that help? says v'sayar. The fact it says hairs in the plural implies other types of colors as well. Lama tzov dome. Why? So Rabbi said, what color is tzahov? Tzahov is a hue of gold. Tzahov is like zahov. The tzaddik and zayin are very interchangeable. Golden. I don't know if that's blonde. I'm not sure. Tarahu v'tara kohen. It is pure, and the kohen shall declare the person pure. But when it was impure, whom the kohen declared pure is not pure. It says here that only the kohen can say if you're pure. He can't. The kohen doesn't make it up. He can only say if you're pure, you're pure. I'm a zayin. Man or woman that has spots on his skin, Baharis Lavanis, white spots, Baharis is Charabus are spots. He should look if he sees their skin are faded white spots. Bayaku, it's just a bayak, it's a smooth, shining whiteness. Parach bar hotar that is erupted, and it's pure, it's just something bad. Kes Lavanis says Rashi, faded whites. The white color is not as strong but faded. It's not one of the 4 shades I told you before. Then bayak, it is kimin loivin. Bayak is a whiteness that appears in the skin, is like the whiteness on a ruddy man who's called the rose in Old French, between his red spots. Meaning, for example, like a freckled person, you see the flesh shines with whiteness between one freckle and the next. Yeah. So why is he telling us this? Do we know this already? Why are you telling me this? I'm not sure. Okay.